Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I am your host, Carmen McLeod, and I am here to talk to you about my passion for spirituality and personal development. My purpose in life at this time is to remind you how powerful you truly are and that you create your own reality. If the mind, the soul, and the universe are topics that interest you, and you want to continue to evolve into your soul's purpose, then you are in the right place. Thank you for joining me as I travel the world and record my journey through self-discovery. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I am so far having a great morning. It's a beautiful sunny day out and it is my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I did a little annual fundraiser thing on my Facebook page, my regular Facebook page, not my Friendly Frequencies one, so the one that's just Carmen McLeod. It is for human trafficking, an organization called the Canadian Centre to End Human Trafficking. So I just put it up there. I love that Facebook does this little thing on your birthday where they ask if you want to just create a fundraiser. Like, it's such a good idea. I did it last year. I'm doing it again this year. So if you want to send a little birthday present, you can send it over to this fundraiser and it'll go towards support for human trafficking. I've been really passionate about supporting human trafficking lately because of the few people that I met in Cambodia who were absolute earth angels, and they were fighting against sex trafficking and child trafficking in Cambodia, as well as like other areas of the world like Greece, the US, and India, and other places. They just opened one in Madagascar. So their mission is to open up, they're called HPC, Hard Places Community, and they've been opening up and extending their locations into the countries that have no one really fighting for their support. So they just opened one in Madagascar. And anyways, these people, I spent like 3 days with them, and they just like welcomed me into their group. It was just they were on a staff kind of retreat thing, and they were just amazing people. And anyways, I really wanted to donate towards them. So this isn't this is a different organization. I couldn't find them on the Facebook, so I couldn't send them the money on here. But I have something else planned for them. But in case they're listening, I'm not going to say anything more about that. I'll talk about it later. So yeah, let's see. What am I talking about today? I was hoping to do something like kind of special for my birthday, and I mean, every topic is special, so I really like this topic. It's not really like anything birthday related, obviously, but I'm really excited about it right now because I'm reading a book about. So the book is called Living in the Light: A Guide to Personal and Planetary Transformation. My auntie gave me this book to read, and I absolutely love it. I'm just about finished it, but I wanted to make a podcast episode on something that I learned about it before I go traveling, because I will be gone in a week from now. I will be in the Philippines, so that's exciting. Woot woot. So I'm not going to like bring this book with me because I'll be almost finished it. So I had to kind of do this podcast episode now. Anyways, I have learned a bit. So the episode today is on masculine and feminine energy, and this has many different terms like your inner male, female, your masculine, feminine energy, your yin and yang, which is like an Eastern philosophy way of saying it, receptive and active, and anima and animus. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but anyways, those are all the terms for this, so you can use however you'd like. But I've learned about this a bit through other podcasts, and I've heard a lot of talk of masculine and feminine energy, and I never totally dived into it yet. And then it showed up in this book, and it really clicked for me on what it really means, and I can totally see how it is in my life. And I know that a lot of people are either suppressed in one area a little bit more than the other, so they let their feminine energy kind of run the show and not their male, or vice versa. And this can be in anyone, like male, female, like any person. Doesn't matter what your sex is, but everybody has these energies. And so it's really interesting. I'm going to read you a little bit of the book just to give a good explanation of them, and then just kind of talk about what I learned about this and how I can see it coming out in my life. And yeah, there we go. So it kind of started from Carl Jung, which is I think he's a psychologist. I learned about him a lot in school. But he discovered the male and female energy, or he discovered that there is male energy in females and female energy in males. I'll talk about what those energies actually mean. But yeah, because of cultural influences, I know some people find it weird to think that there's, like especially for men, like, no, there's no female energy in me. That's gay. But it's not like that. It's actually a law of the universe. It's one of the, I think, 12 laws of the universe, and about how there's masculine and feminine energy in the universe, not just in people, but we are the universe, so it's in everything. So it's like the yin and yang, like you need the contrast of these two things. If there's too much of one or too much of the other, it's just not going to work. Things will not get done, or things will get destructed. So I'll just read a little bit about what the female and male energies are, because she gives a much better explanation than I would give. So I'm just going to read one of the pages. Male and female. I think of our female aspect as being our intuitive self. This is the deepest, wisest part of ourselves. This is the feminine energy for men or women. It is the receptive aspect, the open door through which the higher intelligence of the universe can flow, the receiving end of the channel. Our female communicates to us through our intuition, those inner promptings, gut feelings, or images that come from a deep place within us. If we don't pay conscious attention to her in our waking life, she attempts to reach us through our dreams, our emotions, our physical body. She is the source of higher wisdom within us, and if we learn to listen carefully to her, moment by moment, she will guide us perfectly. So I will just pause here and just let you think to yourself about how connected you are with your feminine energy. So a lot of this has to do with intuition. I feel like that's the most prominent aspect of the feminine energy, is the intuition, because your intuition, I feel like, is your way of channeling your higher self and channeling the universe, and that's comes through in your feminine energy. So if you're blocked off from your feminine energy, then you may not be either listening to your intuition when it's coming through, or you may be so busy with doing a lot of another way of putting this is there's beers and doers, is what she also mentions later in the book somewhere. And a lot of being has to do with the feminine energy, and doing has to do with the male energy. So if you're so caught up in doing and always doing and filling your to-do list and being busy all the time, then you may be disconnected from your female energy. And vice versa, if you are really wanting to, if you like to be on your own, and even if you're an extroverted person, but if you're still really connected with your internal source and able to take that time to just be and not be doing stuff all the time and just connect with yourself, great. And it's good to be doing this. But say if you're too connected to your feminine energy in this way, you may not if you're connected with your feminine energy and disconnected from your male energy, then you may be not doing enough, and you're just going to be, yes, you'll be getting all of these ideas and creative, creative channeling of all kinds, which is great, but that is nothing without action, right? So you need to have both of these energies to act on these impulses, on these intuitive impulses and these ideas and wisdom that comes through in your feminine. You need to act it out in your masculine. Yeah, masculine is what helps you bring all of this to life. So we need both, as you can see. So I will continue reading. That was just the feminine part of it. Um, the male aspect is action, our ability to do things in the physical world, to think, to speak, to move our bodies. Again, whether you are a man or a woman, your masculine energy is your ability to act. It is the outflowing end of the energy channel. The feminine receives the universal creative energy, and the masculine expresses it in the world through action. Thus, we have the creative process. Our female is inspired by a creative impulse and communicates it through a feeling, and our male acts on it by speaking, moving, or doing whatever is appropriate. So, that's just the only little part that I'm going to read out of the book for now. And just to give you a very clear idea of what these are. So, as you can assume, women have been the symbols of female energy with their intuition and nurturing abilities, their emotions, and often have repressed their action and assertiveness. And men are the symbols of male energy with them being strong, assertive, action-oriented, and they have also repressed their female energy in that they don't use their intuition as much and their, emotions and all of that. So that's historically how it has been. But the roles have been changing. So historically, men and women have been this way. And women have been way more in touch with their female energy. Men have been way more in touch with their male energy. And it does work. But when you have a better balance, then my tummy is rumbling. I haven't had breakfast. That's funny. I kind of hope you did hear that actually, because that's hilarious. But yeah, so for the female energy and male energy, through the times changing and so on, the female, a lot of women are actually overdeveloping their male energy, and men are starting to develop their female energy. And, as women have come into the workforce and the roles have changed in a lot of society around men and women, this has created a shift. And some is for the best. It's amazing for the fact that women have been able to connect with their male energy. The only thing is that being unaware of this balance that you need of the two, or even being aware that there are male and female energies, then sometimes women nowadays are getting too much in their male energy and they're now disconnected from their female energy because they're very in the workforce and trying to, prove themselves as equal in the world. And, through this, they must compete with men. And that's a whole nother kind of subject, to be honest. But regardless of what you're doing, you can be disconnected, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of your sex or anything. No matter what, and no matter what time in the world you have even lived, like whatever time frame this is, you can be disconnected from either your male or your female, or have a lot more of one than the other. So the importance is just to learn about what these are, see how they come up in your life, and see where one is more prominent than the other, and where you think you need to bring in one of the other energies to balance out and to just create more unity or more flow in your life. So this can also come through in relationships, as Shakti Gawain was saying. She's the one who wrote the book. I don't know if I ever actually mentioned who the author is, but that's her. She mentions how this can come through in relationships, and how when women are disconnected from their male, they tend to look for men, or not even look consciously for men, but they attract men in their life who are either disconnected from their female, or who are more aggressive and assertive and more in their ego because they need to make up for her lack of masculine energy. And vice versa. If a man is disconnected from his female, then he's going to attract a woman who is more in that area and who's also lacking in her male, if that makes sense the way I said it. So essentially, when you're balanced out in your male and female energies and you're connected to both of these, then you're essentially bound to attract people in your life who reflect this as well, who are also balanced in their energies, and it's going to come through in the relationship. So that's important to think about. And she mentions more about this, where I'm not going to get too far into it, about like when you need the relationship to feel secure, and you feel like in other things like this, and or you're looking for somebody to complete you and to and it's also, yeah, so when you're looking for a relationship around someone completing you, and that you need them to take care of you and this kind of thing, because the male and female energies are taking care of each other. Especially like the male energy takes care of the female by acting on what she wants. Essentially, she paints a beautiful picture of this. Like the female energy has the creative idea, has the wisdom, the knowledge, the this is, that this is what we need to do. And the male energy says, "Yes, ma'am, I'll do it for you. Let's go do it." You need both of these, like I said. And where was I going with that? um so when so in a relationship, when if you're looking for a relationship to complete you because you need them, an important thing to remember in this case is that you have all of these aspects inside of you. You have all of the qualities of a strong man. So if I'm talking to a woman right now, you have all of the qualities of a strong, powerful man. Whatever the quality is that you want in this man, you have all of those in yourself already. All of the male and female aspects of him are also in you, and vice versa. So as much as you're able to connect with these aspects of yourself is exactly what you're going to attract. And just knowing that you are already complete. You don't need somebody else. Like, you don't need somebody else to fill the part of you that's missing. It's not like you are the feminine and you need a masculine to come into your life and fill that masculine void that you don't have. What the truth is that you have both of those in you, and one of them is just being ignored or suppressed for many, a multitude of different reasons. Once you're able to bring those to light and to live in it fully, then you're going to attract other people who are so balanced, and yes, and all of that. So that's essentially what a tiny recap of this is. I'm going to go more into this in future episodes as I learn more about it, because it's quite interesting. And but I'm going to talk about a little bit about how I relate to this and what I've noticed in my life around my masculine and feminine energies. And actually, I feel like I'm really happy about to be learning about this, because I feel really balanced in mine right now. And like a great example is I've been reading books lately like crazy. I've never been one to read books. I have a blind eye, or a semi-blind eye, for those of you who don't know, and I feel like it's affected my reading throughout my life, because my eyes kind of tend to cross and all of this, and my retention has been so terrible from my experience in going to school. I was reading was so difficult. And so I've always been an audiobook person, but I just started reading books and realized that when I'm reading the right books, I am great at it. So I've been reading all of those spiritual and personal development books that I never thought I'd be able to read, and now I'm reading them. But that's, and in that sentence, that's where my masculine and feminine energies are like going crazy right now, is because the spiritual books are, all of the spiritual books like this one, Living in the Light, planetary transformation, consciousness, all that stuff. That's my feminine energy getting sparked and riled up, and I'm connecting to source, and then I go meditate on it and all of that, and that's just my feminine energy just getting, to me, that's just how I'm firing up my feminine energy right now, and it's giving me all of this inspiration to be creative and to, all of these dreams that I have, and my intuition has been off the wall. Like, I'm so in touch with my intuition and what I think is best for me, based on just how I'm feeling and the thoughts that come to my mind at a certain time and all of this. I feel really connected to the universe right now, and that's all through the feminine energy. And then like I said, I need the male energy to actually put these thoughts into action in my life. I can't just keep reading books and not doing anything about what I'm reading. Like I need to actually put action to it. So, and then yeah, so then that's the spiritual books. And then I'm also reading a bunch of personal development books, which as you probably know is a way more male dominated thing. Spirituality is much more female dominated and personal development is more male dominated. And I'm super passionate about both of them, like pretty equally. Um so I love all of the personal development books. I just finished Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is more of like a money book, but you know, money, personal development all kind of goes hand in hand. So I just read that book and I loved it. And so I've gone back and forth between the spiritual and the personal development books. And so I'm going back and forth. And then now I'm listening to an audio lecture of, it's called Your Wish is Your Command by um, Kevin Trudeau. Highly recommended. Oh my gosh, I'm like vibrating after listening to this thing. Like it is so powerful. Has a lot to do with the law of attraction, but it is like nothing I've ever heard before, where it's actually a ex brotherhood member, if I'm getting this correctly. He was in like the secret societies that run the world, essentially, like the places that Bill Gates and all of the most rich and famous billionaires in the planet are in these secret societies, like the Illuminati and those kind of things, right? They're all a part of these. There's one's called the Brotherhood, and I don't know, they're all different ones. Anyways, this guy, Kevin Trudeau, he used to be one of the high-ranking members in these secret societies, and he's come out with this course, or he's teaching this course, and is essentially giving you the full secret to the law of attraction and manifesting and literally having anything in the world that you want at your fingertips. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I already know a lot about law of attraction. I'm like, do I and I was like listening, I'm like, okay, well, let's see, like, what else can I learn about it, right? Need to be open to it. But he goes on to say that most of the books you read on the law of attraction and all of this is not the full story, because they don't want you to, they meaning like the really powerful and elite people running the whole world don't want you to know, because they want to keep running the world. They don't want people to know how powerful they truly are. So anyways, I'm getting off on a kind of a tangent on this one, but anyways, please go listen to that audio, because it'll change your life. I'm dead serious. It'll change your freaking life. It's quite long though. It's like many hours but it's broken down into like hour segments. Anyways, so just listening to that though is like, that's really masculine in the way of, yes, the law of attraction is this, there's a spiritual aspect of it, but especially as I'm listening to speakers that are really powerful billionaires who are running the world and who are in these secret societies that are really, like, to me it's kind of scary. Like, I don't know if about you, but it's so unknown and so secretive, and who knows what happens behind there, and like there's so much on the line, and that much money can really make people crazy, I think, for sure, and greedy, and it's scary stuff, and it's very masculine. So as I learn from people like that, it's really good that I'm also counteracting it with books like this, Living in the Light. I'm going back and forth between, okay, how can I become a millionaire? Or, like, yeah, exactly. Like books that are, having my mind go towards all of these ways of making different amounts of money and attracting all of this success and all of the physical success that I want. And then I counteract it with, having this, not even counteract, it's like the opposite of the word I should be using. Because it doesn't counteract it, it actually like makes it more. I don't even know what the word would be for that, but the spiritual side is so important. I couldn't even get to that level of success if I didn't have the spiritual side of myself. So anyway, so that's a really long way of saying that, but the books I'm reading, essentially, I have very like masculine books, very feminine books, and then they're really balancing my masculine and feminine energies right now. However, even that, like learning about these books, reading these books and getting super inspired about it and thinking about all the things that I'm going to do in my life and all of this, visualizing all of the things, that's still kind of in my feminine energy in total, even with the kind of masculine books, because that's still going to my inspiration and it's still in my head. So it's really important for me to act on these books, to use my masculine energy to act on what I'm reading. So like an example of this is I had my intuition tell me, and I had that kind of spiritual download from the universe about how I should be public speaking and starting the podcast, and how I'm meant to do a lot more than just be an artist. That was the download. That was the feminine part. That was my feminine energy that received that. And then my male energy is what actually got my ass up and started the podcast, a few weeks after that. So it's the ability to act on it. And in my, obviously, like, my intuition told me that traveling is for me right now. I need to literally quit my life out here and go travel and start a whole new life as a traveling artist podcaster. That was the message, and I received it and I acted on it with my male energy. So that's great. Like, I'm really happy that I'm able to act on it in a, on the big life decisions. I feel like I'm really balanced in this. However, I think where I could grow is in the smaller kind of decisions and kind of more the day-to-day things, where I think that I have a lot of inspiration every day and I have this vision of myself and it's unwavering, and I know for sure 100%, my success is inevitable. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be all of this. Like, I have all of these visions and all of these ideas and all of the things I want to do and that I will do. However, I need to do more in taking action towards it. So my female energy in total, I'd say, is more prominent than my male energy right now in life, because of course I've been, a spiritual gypsy, hanging out on the beach every day and painting and meditating, and I've been so connected with my feminine. And my masculine has been a little bit less, because I'm not really in the hustle and bustle of living in, Vancouver and working and doing all these things, because I'm not as focused on the money making aspect of it right now. I'm focused on the internal work and the introspection and the learning and learning and learning and learning, which is also very important. So I'm happy with where I'm at, but I am aware that my masculine is going to need to get kicked into overdrive soon, especially as I go to New Zealand. So I think I've definitely mentioned, obviously I've mentioned I'm going to New Zealand, but like, I don't know if I mentioned I'm going to be staying there for about 6 months and working and living in a van and all that, traveling around. But I want to paint murals down there to make some actual money, and I'll be painting murals in the Philippines as well, but that's trading for accommodation. But when I get to New Zealand, since I'm going to be there for so long and their dollar is much better than it is in the Philippines, of course, I'm going to actually make some money. So that's where my male energy is going to need to get kicked into overdrive, because I need to actually take action on a lot of these things. And especially also with my vision of the podcast, like, I need to do more around, like, the visions I have for this podcast are huge, but I'm kind of doing the minimum. I'm just posting an episode every week. I'm not getting that many guests on yet. Like, I have more I need to do. I'm doing a lot of being. I love being. I love my own company, and I love all of this. If I could just be all the time, honestly, I'd be so happy. But I know that I need to do more. So that's where I'm a little imbalanced and ready to get balanced pretty quick here. And yeah, so that's me. That's my male and female. I'd love to hear about what yours is. And so send me a message, or actually, if you could leave me a review. Since it's my birthday, I'll ask one more time. No, not one more time. I'm going to keep asking. Please leave me a review wherever, on Spotify if you're listening, or I think iTunes is the best place to do it for some reason. That's where you can actually write something. But anyways, if you want to, send me a little birthday present, then either one, write me a little review, or two, or donate on the Facebook donation thing that I put up on my Facebook page. And I'll put a link to that. I'll put a link to both of those. Yeah. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.